Good morning. It is 8:10 on Thursday, January 12th, and just getting started taking a look at yesterday's trading. I'm getting ready to do some homework for today. So let's start by taking a look at yesterday. I thought let's bring that chart back. So what we talked about yesterday before the open was we were expecting a pretty calm day yesterday, and we had looked at some expectations of coming and testing swing low, and if we break that swing low, we were looking at a fairly easy move down. On the top side, we were looking for initial test of the value area low from uh, Tuesday at 51.71, and if we broke that value area low, we were expecting to get a push above that. I also said I didn't think that we were going to push all the way through Tuesday's range, but it goes to show, especially on a Wednesday when you have the report, the inventory report, and also yesterday with Trump speaking, that definitely added some fuel to the move. So if you take a look at how the day played out, let's do a slighter, smaller time frame. If we go back here, now look, remember, keep in mind, when I talk about what it is that we're looking for, anticipating, that stuff can't cost us money unless, or make us money, unless we're waiting and acting on the proper setup. So let's see what we had yesterday in the morning. Let's talk about what I did, what I didn't do, what I did better than others, and so on. So market open. If you look, yesterday's overnight low was down here at 50.70. Overnight high was here at 51.33. So what we were looking for initially was um, sometime we had a few different hypotheses that were out there. I'm not going to go back over them from yesterday, but what ended up happening was we pushed straight up towards some of these VPOCs through overnight high, through VPOCs, and we had gotten up to at the time what was the high of day. Didn't quite get to that 70 area, the value area low from Tuesday, but we did have a strong push at the open, and we do expect some fairly tight range before the news announcement on Wednesday. So when we had this push and we slowed down, made another push up here with some divergence on those on the BBs down at the bottom, that gave us an opportunity for a short. So this short here came in at 47, I believe, is where we took our trade. Um, that comes down, test the VWAP. VWAP holds, but if you remember, we drew out what's called a head and shoulders pattern, and to put that back on here. And I've posted the videos, the recordings of these sessions to YouTube. I've done it on a private channel where I would need to send you the link. So I guess if you're hearing this, you already have that. But anyhow, so we drew out this before it happened, and we said, if we get a pull back up to 47, we're going to look to get a short, which we did. We took a 10 tick profit there, but here's what we didn't do. All right, so we took a 10 tick profit, and we right now I was only trading one contract. I think today I'm going to start messing around with 3 contracts just to start kind of getting used to scaling in and so on. So because we only had one contract, we closed our trade here. But if we had multiple contracts, you'd still be in your trade. You'd be in your trade for this entire push down. Um, it's hard to talk about profit targets. I'll do that today when I have multiple contracts. We'll start talking about some places to put reasonable profit targets and things like that. So that was our first trade. Here's what we didn't do. Okay, so that worked out very nicely. Did not catch any of this move back up here, and even looking at it now in hindsight, I don't have a good reason to have gotten long down here. I mean, I can create some, but they'd be bullshit at this point. So now market comes back up. We go right through the VWAP. It's no longer being respected. It's no longer holding as support or resistance. We did the same thing on this side. We just kept trading up right around it, through it the entire time. So we weren't giving it any more value, at least at that time. So we came back up. We really should have been trying to go short again, 47. We saw the high of day hold before. Again, we have yet to. We're still before the news. We're still expecting this type of range. So we really should have been trying to get short again, which we didn't. No big deal, just something to see in hindsight. And if we didn't get short here, you have another opportunity to get short here, which again we didn't. And it's not the worst trade not to take, and the reason for that is this: we when you look at where you'd be getting short, 47, your stop loss will be up above the current high day. Okay, so that's good. Your first profit target's at 37, so that's good. Yeah, to tell you the truth, actually, there really is no reason not to have taken that trade. It's just we didn't get as much divergence as I would normally like in here, so that's really what kept me out of that. I didn't feel comfortable just making the trade off of the price, so didn't take that trade. Didn't see that one, so that is what it is. Now here we come up one more time. Once again, we don't really have divergence in these VBs. Now you'll notice this red line here that says RDIV. That's regular divergence. This is telling me there's divergence in another indicator that this plots. It's just I don't want to have to look at the actual indicator on the screen. I don't want to use up any more windows, but so there was divergence here, and this is because of this, and we have a nice entry signal here. So you get a push up, you get a relatively small candle with a downward move. Def absolutely could take good short here, and you're actually still at that 48, 47 level. Same thing, profit target's going to be 37 for the beginning of it, and now you're getting very close to that news announcement. So I try not to be in anything, a good 5 minutes before the announcement, so everything would have been closed out somewhere around here if you weren't already out of the position at that 37. All right, so then the news comes, and this is kind of where it gets interesting. We don't trade when there's news out. It just goes a little bit too crazy. This whole move starting from right here. This is 10:30. Okay. This is 10:30 in 7 seconds. This is 10:30 in 13 seconds. So this whole thing happened in a span of 18 seconds. This move down, this bounce back, this move down again. This is still within 30 seconds, 49 seconds, a minute and 4 seconds. And now you're starting to settle in. Okay, a minute and 13 seconds, and you're going to see these are going to start slowing down. And if you look at the time at the bottom that's highlighted in white right now, that's the time that the candle is, I believe, is ending. So that ended at 23 seconds. That ended at 46 seconds. So now these candles are taking, 10, 20 seconds to form. Still moving very, very quickly. Okay. Here, however, now we're getting to a spot that we want to look to buy. And it's very simple. It's that swing. Okay, we have overnight low. We have that swing low. We talked about this during the homework. We're expecting this to hold because if it doesn't hold, we're making a way down. Where yesterday's low, yesterday's close. 1,000,001 reasons to want to buy here. So I don't trade this time of day, but the reason I'm going over this is I just want you to see what we're looking for, the setups we're looking for. If you're patient and you wait for them, they're going to turn up. And if you don't find a way, if you don't find a reason to enter down here, this is actually a really nice one. You've made one push, you've pulled back, you've made a second push, and at this point you have a really strong entry candle here, really strong bullish candle. You can easily enter here. If you're not comfortable with that, you could wait for this pullback. At this point, you've now gotten divergence on the BBs, and you could buy it on a pullback here with your stop loss being below this swing. Absolutely great entry. Again, remember, this is stuff that we had on the chart. I haven't adjusted my charts at all since yesterday. These are all lines and information we had on the chart well before this happened. So now, generally speaking, on a day where there's a news release, you'd be surprised how many times that news release is completely corrected. It's called the scene of the crime, where the move begins at the point of the news. And in our case, that would have been 51.39. So we would be expecting a move back to 51.39. And at that point, we're right back into the morning hypothesis. We're back to the same thing. Are we going to go up to value area low of Wednesday, which is right here? Okay, 51.71. When we get up to there, what are we going to do? How are we going to react to it? Okay, so in this case, first test, it held. All right, so now again, certainly if you're in this position, that's going to be one of our profit targets. Middle of the day would be a profit target. You know, there'd be quite a few here, but when you're getting into a position like this after the news, expecting giant retracement, your profit targets are definitely going to be spread out more. This is a really good trading opportunity. When time permits, I might start looking to trade. Wednesday 10:30, meaning right after the news. Trade for about an hour or so, but we'll see. It's not something that I've ever been very good at. But the more we watch it, we'll see if that's something that presents itself. So we get up here to the value area low of Tuesday, 51.71. So we start coming across, we form a double top, and we form it with divergence, right? So we would have reason to go short here. Okay, and if you do, usually we're looking at 2 ticks below the high. And that's 75 the high, 73 is the entry. First exit would be 63. You would get that. At that point, your stops at break even. So you would have had a nice little quick trade here. Now you break through 71. At this point, 71 is, now we're starting to look at it as potentially support. Okay, remember we talked, if we get above this and we can trade a little above this, now we're expecting to go back into yesterday's range, head up towards yesterday's point of control. I know you can't see the chart I'm looking at, but I'll just tell you what that number is. Yesterday's point of control. Wednesday's point of control. No, sorry. Okay, sorry. So once we break 51.71, which is the value area high of Tuesday, at that point we were saying, maybe we'll go back up and test the high of Tuesday. And I did not expect to see it break above there, which is 52.26. So we break 51.71 here. We trade above it. We have our double top here. We catch a quick short. Now we start trading above it again. You still have divergence here, actually. But what you don't have here is you don't have many levels above you to lean on, right? So I don't have great places to put my stop losses. So I wouldn't be very comfortable taking a short trade here. I would really be waiting for a setup, for a pullback, and looking for an opportunity to try to go long. And really the only places that I can see that would make sense to start watching for that is certainly here at the 71 level. You wouldn't want to go long yet, and the main reason for that is that you don't really have much room above you. 17 ticks, actually, that's not too bad. So we would certainly have been looking for a setup somewhere down here. Now, as this pulls back, again, this is not a matter of hindsight. There's just no setup. You look back at this, and this nothing here is a potential setup to go long. Your first one actually could have been here at 68, but you'd have to have your stop loss below the IB high, because that's the next level below that's really going to make a difference to us. This yellow line here. So same thing, you pull back to the IB high, you get another strong entry bar here. At this point, for me, I would look at this as a good opportunity to go long. Same thing, we're looking for our first targets, 10 ticks. You easily get that here. You'd be stopped out. Now, when you're stopped out here, if you're stopped out here, because you should have been, you would have moved your stop to break even here. Your entry is 58, maybe 59. You're out 69. You don't get up to 79. You get a pull back down below that 59. So you'd be out with the stop at break even. But you'd be looking, if I'm trading this, I'm actually looking for another entry here. I'm not crazy about this lower high, so I don't know that I would be buying here. But now when we break above that here, on this move up, we come and we test the 21-day moving average. Here you might look at this here, this entry bar, this strong green bar, and we'll talk about entries and stuff like that. We got plenty of time, but these reviews are as much for me as it is for you. I like seeing these things and trying to make sense of it so I can react to it quicker in real time. Here again, we start to push. Now, remember the high of Tuesday was 52.26, and that was the next level that we were expecting to test and see what happens. I mean, look, I actually have not reviewed this. This is the first time I'm reviewing this chart, but take a look at how much that is respected right now. I'm not saying we'd be going short here because at first test I wouldn't. If we had some divergence with it, yeah, I would. Now, again, we have this red line. This red line is kind of interesting. This is the second time we're seeing this where the red line is showing us divergence, but our BBs are not. So the indicator that that's following, we might start incorporating that where, here you get a nice bit of divergence, good entry bar here, potential for a short, really tight potential stop. You got some levels above you to protect you. Excuse me. I tell you, last few days is like something stuck in me. All right, so you get a pullback, and what you're looking for. What you're looking for in a pullback like this, if you did get short up here, again, you're still looking for your 10 ticks. That's going to be your first target. Your next thing is going to be to move the break even. And I'm going to start learning a little bit better. And I'm going to start messing around with the recontracts so I can look at how some different ways of scaling into and out of positions. But I think 10 and 20 ticks are going to be some numbers that I pay attention to. So here's 52. Let me see how low this candle was here. 19. So you're in at 18. 08 is 1. 98 would be the other, which you do get to. Now, again, down here, I don't really see anything that would dictate a long entry. The only thing that you could possibly, if you wanted to argue it, is we come down, we test this swing low. So we're coming back to a level of support that was resistance. You can see back here, it was resistance here. Next time we came to it, it held a support. We're holding support. Again, you get a strong entry candle. You could make the argument to get into a trade here, tight stop below. And again, now at this point, you're looking for your 10 ticks. And I'm not saying that I took this trade. I did not. I wasn't trading at this point at all. You're in at 2, you're out at 13. You're at this point, your stop is break even. You get to 23. And let's take a look at what happens now. We're retesting yesterday's high again, and we do have divergence from back here to here. Okay, so definitely would be willing to get into a short trade again. We have levels above us, so this is a strong entry candle here. This one actually isn't that bad itself. Just a little doji here that you could try to pull a short off of, keep a tight stop. Again, 10 tick profit target. Whether you got into it after the doji at 27, which put your profit target at 17, or if you get into it after the close of this candle, which puts your entry at 19, profit target at 9. Either way, you get your first 10 ticks. You get your 20 ticks. And here again, we've come down. We've tested this. We've tested this support, and gives you a strong entry candle. We just had a higher high, currently a higher low. Still everything looking as potentially good long entries down here. Support level continues to hold, and I guess let's see what happens. Certainly you have gotten your 10 ticks. You would not yet have gotten your 20 ticks. I don't believe. Oh, actually, you would have. Holy crap! This is a pretty big range here. Now we have a low, high, higher low, higher high. Still waiting on a pullback, looking to buy here. Okay, so you do get a pullback now, and I'm honestly not really seeing any trades in here at this point. Now you finally break over yesterday's high, and this what was acting as a resistance level, and we start looking at this as, okay, now we've come into all this congestion up here, all these levels. So any decent divergence, I'm looking for a short up here. We do get some right here. I didn't really see other than some of the long entries off this support. I really didn't see these as long entries. I probably should though, and when I have more time, I'll go back and review these for myself. And if I see anything that makes sense, I'll show Excuse me, I'll show you. So here, here we have a here's our break. Come to a high. Nice move down on the BBs. Definitely potentially some shorts in here. I'm not all that crazy about them. Pull back to yesterday's high. Notice yesterday's high now holds perfectly at support. So not surprising. Definitely a nice entry candle here. And as we come further along, we're creating way more divergence, right? So anytime we get what looks like a decent setup, like we might have even gone short here, taking a loss on this one. Well, man, actually, yeah. Now, I would say pretty comfortable. Well, I shouldn't say that because you'd have to have your stop above here. We might have been looking to scale into a position here, and would have been willing to add all the way up so that we have our stop loss above this swing level here. At this point, I'm not sure what your average price would be, but you certainly would have enough move in here to either get out or break even. Now even more so. And then ultimately we hold back at the the support that's been holding this IB upper three. Forget what that means. It's really irrelevant to us, but just a line I can use as a reference for you guys. And then we pull into the close heading down. Definitely, with a strong reaction to the news. We had a quick push down, but really, obviously, everybody was very happy with whatever news it was that made them happy, and we don't care. I have no interest in what was said. I couldn't care less about what the inventory was. That could not mean less to me. What I care about is what I'm seeing on the chart, right? And that's what these reviews are for. So let's just take a look at what happened overnight. See where we're trading now. Start trying to form some hypothesis, or a few of them. Okay, so from where we closed yesterday and then we opened, we tested down, barely tested down, and the entire overnight session has been just straight up. So I mean I shouldn't say that. We moved up, came back, retraced, tested the overnight price, spent some time in here consolidating, had some balance, broke above, starting to do some price discovery. But now for me, I don't really look at, and the truth is, we could look at the overnight trading, we could look at setups and so on, but it's not. But I don't. I don't trade overnight. You guys are absolutely welcome to take a look at that. And a few people now, ever since starting, ever since we started to talk about getting back into trading and trying to learn so I can be even remotely close to as consistent as I was before. I've had a few people talking about, oh, well, how can I, maybe you can trade for me, and that's just not what I do. I've never done that. It's not something I have any interest in doing. I mean, the simple fact is, if there's 30 contracts available, I'll take all 30 of them, for myself in time, over time. I'm not. I'm more than happy to teach. I'm more than happy to show people what I'm doing, what I'm thinking, because there's a lot of tools out there to trade. I'm trading right now. This is just oil futures, and I'm going to ultimately add the S&P in there. But you have the Nasdaq, the Dow, all the different bond interest rates, every single foreign exchange currency pair that's out there. I mean, there's so much more available to trade than just than what I'm trading, and it's not. And so much happens in oil. I don't care if every single person that learns this is doing almost exactly the same thing I am. We're not moving the market. We're not affecting anything. It's just that's just what it is. But more importantly is that if I could teach you guys to trade, some of you are going to have time. You're not going to have time during the day. Some of you are going to have time at 5 o'clock at night, 6 o'clock at night. And you know what? There's no reason you can't pull up a chart, take a look at it. Don't force trades, but there's no reason you can't pull up the chart and take a look at it and see if anything is setting up. And potentially, I used to when I was first learning how to do this, I used to take trades and set trades for overnight. So to give you an example, I would look at where we were going to open, and I would wait. I'd wait a little bit after the open, and I would say, okay, so I'm expecting us to test a certain level, and I'm expecting us on the bottom side and on the top side, and I would just place a couple of limit trades in there. Put some trades in there, and if it would get to my price, I'd already have my stop loss and my profit target, and I was happy to do that. I thought that was in a lot of cases it worked out very well for me, but not something I want to do now. I mean, I'd rather be in front of the screen for my style of trading. But if but by the time it's all said and done, and hopefully I do my best to teach you, you'll be able to look at a chart and decide for yourself if that's something you want to do. All right, so what I'm doing now is I'm stretching out this micro composite profile. So what that means is, this volume profile, and I'm not going to use the, I'll go over it a little bit. This volume profile, basically what this is showing you is each one of these, each one of these bars is a price point. This one's 52.83, 52.82, 52.81. And you can see over on the right, it's highlighted in white what that price is, right? So as I scroll down, that number goes down. As I scroll up, that number goes up. And what this is showing you is how much volume was traded at that price. And volume is very important to us. Volume is what we use to find, volume is what we use to find the levels um, that we want to trade off of. So, okay. So basically what I've done is I've covered this entire area with one profile, okay? And then you have a profile for each day. The profile for the day that just the most recent day is over here on the right. So this is going to be yesterday's profile. Also keep in mind on this chart, this is a 60-minute chart. Okay, so that means each one of these candles represents 60 minutes of trading. And the profile here on the right, this is yesterday's profile. Very elongated profile. We'll get into what that means. We'll get into what we're talking about. There's absolutely no surprise that we pushed up yesterday after the close, because if you take a look at this elongated profile, your point of control, this red line from yesterday, is almost at the very top. So very, very weighted to the top. Price was getting accepted the entire way up. And we'll get more into that in just a bit. So I stressed out this profile because I want to encompass everything, everything that's there. So let me just take a look at something here. Okay, so you'll notice that for this profile, for this micro composite means it's not the entire chart. This white profile here is all the data of this entire chart. My chart goes back 1 year. But if you look at this micro composite, you'll notice that the VPOC, this red line, which is the most traded price, is right here, 53.61. So what we're going to do is I'm going to draw a micro composite VPOC, which I do in red with a dashed and dotted line. Okay, and I have other ones here from other micro composites that I had drawn out. So, and there's no reason for me to take those off right now. These are, there's really no reason to take those off at any point. You don't ultimately, you don't want your chart to get too congested, but right now there's plenty of space here. So I add this in here. I take a look at yesterday. We already had this swing that was drawn out yesterday, so we keep this on the chart. I'm actually keeping this swing on the chart because we only had one close below it. This candle opened and pushed up. This candle opened, and although we tested below it during the news, which is when we got exactly down to the swing, we tested below it and pushed right through it for this candle. We closed above it. So I'm going to keep this one on there to see what happens if we get back to it. Already have my swings drawn out here. The only reason I'm not drawing a swing out here is I already have a micro composite VPOC here, so this area is already marked by something. So no reason for me to put a second line in. Okay, so let's take a look at what's happening overnight. All right, we're currently trading at 53.11, and right now it's almost 8:40. So we still have 20 minutes before we get to the open. So some of the stuff I draw out now could change based on what happens between now and the open. But let's take a look at what hypotheses are going to be. So opening at 53.11. So what's that tell us? We're opening above yesterday's range completely. Very, very strong right now. That's not to say it's going to stay strong, but what I'm going to look for is going to be initially a pullback down to about this swing, yesterday's high, retest, and I'd like to see a push back up towards this microcomposite BPOC. I mean, that's definitely right now the level that's of most interest to me. As we make our way up there, I won't be surprised to see this level give us a reason to chop around. I won't be surprised to see this give us a reason to chop around. That certainly can happen, and that affects the hypotheses. Let me clear that and draw that again for us. So first hypothesis is going to be an open, maybe a push down, balance here, maybe attempt towards yesterday's high, push back up, balance here, ultimately make a push up towards this VPOC and beyond. If we get above this microcomposite VPOC, again, you see a balance here. We get above, we could be looking for a trend day up. We have plenty of areas above us that we would ultimately be watching, but this is going to be hypothesis 1, and then hypothesis 2 is going to be same basic idea with a couple of well, maybe not. Let's see. So we're going to open, slow down here, test yesterday's low, come up to the VPOC, find resistance, and ultimately start balancing between here and here. Okay, so that would be hypothesis number 2. Hypothesis number 3 is going to be almost a repeat of what happened yesterday. Push up, pretty much immediately get to our microcomposite VPOC, slow down, pull back, and then at that point it really becomes, we're going to have to pay attention to what happens at the levels. Are we going to come back up, break, hold, and push? Or are we going to come back up, hold, pull back down, hold, make our way into yesterday's range? And that's going to be the last hypothesis we'll take a look at, is what happens if we get into yesterday's range. So almost regardless of how we do it, but let's just look at it from this perspective. We open, small push up, we don't get anywhere near the microcomposite VPOC, we turn down, cross into yesterday's high, this swing high holds as resistance, yesterday's VPOC, we settle down here, ultimately holds as resistance, trade down, resistance, and now we're making our way down. If we get into yesterday's range, we really can see fairly decent movement pushing down. Now, because of yesterday's range was so big, generally speaking, one of the things you look for is after big range days, you look for slower days. After slow days, you look for bigger days. But yesterday being used, I haven't paid enough attention to that to really give a good opinion. But again, it doesn't matter to us. The reason you do these, or the reason I do these hypotheses is, sorry, let me just answer the text there. The reason you do these hypotheses is to just kind of remind you, look, here's what we're next to. Here are the levels that are going to be of importance to us. These are the times when we really want to pay attention. When the market gets to these prices, we really want to pay attention to what's happening on the market at that point. So when oil gets to those prices, we really want to be aware of what's going on. And you remember, we're going to be forming dynamic levels throughout the day, and dynamic levels are, as of right now, you got your overnight low. Sorry. So let's first put let's draw out our overnight low here. And the reason I draw the overnight low is because on my hourly charts, the one we just did the homework on, since I only show the regular trading hours, I don't have a record of low and high on there. So for now, I put these out here. Let me see, did I take off the ones from yesterday? We need to do that. We also need to take off that 52. We need to get rid of the value area. Here it is, 5172. Don't need that anymore. That. Okay, so I have no interest in the low and high from 2 nights ago, only yesterday. So here's overnight high, here's overnight low, and then we're going to start forming dynamic levels when the market opens. The VWAP, the 21 bar exponential moving average, the middle of the day, the opening range, the initial balance, all those things become levels that form throughout the day. All right, you know what I want to do? I'm going to take a quick minute. Oh shoot, I don't think I have the proper chart for this. In fact, I'm pretty sure I don't. I don't have a good homework chart for the ES on here right now, and I don't want to fumble around right now trying to put one on. What time is it? Yeah, I got some time. All right, you know what? Let me mess around with that real quick. I'm going to pause this for now. There's no reason for you guys to have to endure this. Just to pick it back up here, let's take a look at the news that's coming out today. We already had at 8:30. We had some numbers come out. Our next ones out are going to be at 10:30. That's natural gas storage. Does tend to have an effect on crude oil, but we should have some pretty smooth trading this morning. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to get back to working on this chart. I'm going to pause this again so you guys don't have to listen to me yet. All right, so working on pulling up this S&P, the S&P chart to maybe do a little bit of homework on. Now we got the open coming up fairly soon. The oil open 9 o'clock in 7 minutes. So I don't want to rush us through this. I certainly don't want to do the homework improperly. So what I'll do for now, just real simple, is let's do what we do with oil. Let's stretch out our composite. Okay. We did get a little bit outside this balance here, but we've come right back in. So I'm going to stretch it out beyond here, to encompass that. And let's take a look at what. Okay, so looks like we've got. So this swing here, we're getting rid of. Okay, this was previous resistance. We came right through it, came right back below it. It did hold a little bit, but then again, we kind of traded through it. So we're gonna get rid of this one. That's for me. That's no longer valid. Okay. This swing we have down here, this held nicely. This is the I'm guessing this was a microcomposite epoch, but that area has changed. Yeah. Okay, so this is VPOC down here. All right, so let's get rid of this one. This is no longer VPOC. Current microcomposite VPOC is way up here. I believe it's this one. Yeah. So we're going to draw that out. The hardest thing when it comes to learning to trade, believe it or not, it's not even the trading. It's terminology. It's for someone like me, someone is trying teach, poorly or not, but someone that's trying to teach, for me to be able to just speak like I'm used to and do my best to try to impart information on you, um, that it's hard. It's hard when a lot of the terminology I'm using you don't understand. Now you will. I can assure you that. And what I'll end up doing is I'll spend some time either some nights or some weekends, maybe even with if some of you are around, I'll even do it with you and just kind of go over some of the basics of the terminology. My thing with the way I used to teach and the way I'm going to try to teach again. Oh, hang on, I still have this turned on as well. That's why all my numbers look crazy. Let's reload that chart. The way I try to teach is I just want to teach you what you need to know to make money. I have no, I don't pay attention to the political environment. I only pay attention to the political environment when it's going to give me something fun to argue about. But I don't pay attention to it at all in terms of the market. I don't pay attention to any of the news on TV. Most of the time when I'm trading, if I have the TV on, it's either Sports Center, some type of, so it could be a show, um, anything but the news. Okay, anything but financial news because whatever is said on TV, you watch enough channels, you'll hear enough opinions. So whatever is said on TV ultimately gets reflected in the chart, and that's what I'm interested in. I look at the chart, and that's how I gather my information. Um, so let's take a look here. We're gonna add a little bit to our hypothesis here. We talked about our different potentials, and what's nice for us right now is that overnight, there we go. All right, we're good now. Overnight high, and we have this dotted and dashed line here at some microcomposite VPOC. We're going to add in the idea that just like from our hypothesis, we might come up to here. This might hold. Overnight high might hold. We're really interested in seeing what happens here. Is it going to break above? And is this going to become support, or is it going to come to it, hold, and become resistance? We do have what I'm almost sure would be divergence if we come back up here. Let's give you a quick definition of divergence. What time is it? What I time do this? Yeah. Okay. Divergence is positive divergence and negative divergence. Negative divergence happens when you're going to a high. Positive happens when you're going to a low. But basically what you're looking at is, let's say price comes up here right now. At this point, we would have a flat change from this high to this high. At the same time, here is, let's just pretend for a second that this is happening on the BBs. Flat here, negative here. Or if it was positive price movement here, negative here. That's negative divergence. And that's what we're looking for when we start, retesting highs. And I talk about, excuse me, I talk about divergence. I don't usually tell you negative, positive, because uh, that just becomes obvious. Meaning, if it's happening on top, it's negative. I don't have to call it negative divergence. It's just that there is divergence. I'll try to remember to say it properly. But if you take a look at the BBs down in the bottom left corner, the middle right beneath this chart, and the bottom right beneath this chart, you'll see all of these BBs have had a nice move down, which makes sense because we've had a move down in price. Now, as we turn back up, depending on how that happens, we potentially are going to see the BBs not come up as far. The BBs are those little these little dots down here. These are called BBs. And I don't really have anything. None of these are really all long term. Those are all very short term tick charts. But let's take a look. Also, let's talk about what a tick chart is. So you remember before when we're doing our homework? You know what? Hang on, the market's about to open. Sorry. Let's pay attention. Okay. Market opens, just kind of do what it did yesterday. Strong push up so far. All right, we didn't quite get up to overnight high. You could see how the BBs really didn't turn up all that much, which is again, right for now, a sign that we would have divergence when we come up here. I'm not looking to just take a short. I need some setup here because I don't have levels here to use as a stop. My real level is way up here, so I would need to see some type of setup develop. I don't want to just throw a short in based on price. Yeah, so let's see what happens. We're coming up testing overnight high. At this point, I would consider it a test, but we got to within one tick of it. Let's see if it holds. Let's see if we turn down. If I am going to put a short in here, I'm not looking to scale in. Basically, I'd be looking to put in a short. Oh, actually, you know what? Let me do something here. I'd be looking to put in a short, and my stop would be just above here. This would be an all-in type of thing, because as we start moving against it, like I said, I just don't have enough levels up here to, this is already up at 61. All right, so we broke the overnight high. Now, we certainly have divergence. In this case, price is moving up while the indicator, the BBs are moving down. I am looking for a decent setup here. I actually am going to put short if it comes down. I'm going to close that. I'm going to get rid of that for now. If this bar would have turned into a downward bar, I would have wanted to get short. So that's why I had my entry down here. I don't like that they just overlapped here. I'm not really crazy about that. So we're going to hold off now. Um, let's say we don't get a short, and we very well may not. We are also interested in looking to see what happens if it pulls back and tests the mid and the VWAP. And it's a little early. This is not a huge move. What do we have from here? That's not bad. 03 to 31. That's not bad at all. 28. See, again, we're overlapping here. That's usually a sign of strength from a move like this. You push up, you get above a level, you want to hold that. Let's see. What I'd like to look for here is a breakout, pull back, give me a chance to get long. I'm afraid of just buying breakouts. I'm not a big fan of just buying breakouts. I'd rather buy after the breakout, which I know doesn't seem to make sense, but it just gives you conviction. Still have divergence. We're holding price above overnight high, above this microcomposite VPOC. Definitely not looking for a short right now because we held above this. If we go short here, our profit target's going to be here, but truth, that's just not enough. Meaning we don't want to put our profit target below the overnight high because there's a very good chance it won't get there. So definitely no shorts right now. And that could change in seconds, but right now in real time, not looking for any shorts. Let's take a look at this move here from the open to the high of the move. Come on, to the pullback. 53.55 would be 100% extension of that move. We'll be interested to see. What happens if it gets up to there. Now we're starting to come up to these levels up here. where we might have some reasonable entries to go short and use stop losses above us, but um, have not gotten there yet. And we could see a short setup trade potential setup here, just not yet. I would really want to see this come below the overnight high and head back up before I start looking to get any shorts here. You know, if we take a look at the BVs from the open to now, certainly no divergence. Everything is pointing straight up. I'm just kind of sitting tight, see what happens. Grab me a lozenge here. Fortunately for you, I'm not going to turn on a webcam so you don't have to see my fat ass. But I'll tell you, I'm about to have a lozenge. Slowly stepping higher. You know, been no real retracement. Had a small one here, but nothing to warrant a trade. That's not true. There was our breakout pullback. How did I not see that? What the hell was I doing? There's our breakout pullback entry right there. What the? You know, let me see how fast that happened. 55 seconds. No, it's 40 seconds. That should be plenty of time. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know how the hell I missed that. That's it. Fuck. That's exactly what I was looking for. Breakout pullback entry. Shit. What the hell was that? All right. Anyhow. And then remember, look, you know, you've heard me say at this point, I don't consider myself to be consistent by any stretch of the imagination. My trading has been good just from a what I'll call dollars and cents perspective. I've been right way more than I've been wrong, but I don't react nearly as fast as I would like to. So I'm looking forward to cleaning that up, and that's going to take time. You know, that's you know, I don't have a goal for that. I don't have deadlines for myself. The most important thing is that I'm in front of the screen every day, paying attention, starting to learn and recognize these things before they happen. And honestly, I can't believe I didn't take a trade here. You know, what am I waiting for? Breakout, pullback, give me a chance to buy. There it is. But I just didn't react to it fast enough. Didn't have my trade in place fast enough. But no, it's okay. And now at this point, we're just kind of in no man's land. You know, we have this beneath us, we have this above us. We're dead middle of it. There's absolutely nothing for us to do here right now. We are slowly. We've been slowly climbing up. You know, we put a trend line in here. Go from here. We do one coming up off these closes. We've obviously broken that one. You could do one here. We've broken that one. You could do one off this post. We've broken that one. So at this point, we're leveling off. Again, I'm going to expect a push up. Remember what I said here. We have a small push up, consolidation. I would expect a push up. I'm not as interested this time in a breakout pullback entry because we're getting close to that 53.55, which we got from our Fibonacci extension. In many cases. Now, originally we drew it from here. Okay, this is how we drew it. We got 50-55. You can draw it now slightly differently. Still starting at the low from the open. Here's our new swing now, you know, potentially. So we got 53.68 at the 61.8 and then 53.73. So don't let that confuse you for now. Just ignore that for now. Still have, according to this indicator, still have divergence. But remember, we couldn't go short because we had no good places to put our stops. Now we're getting towards areas that we do. So if we get a setup, then we could start looking to go short. But not yet. I mean, there's certainly not been any setup for that. So here again, we had our consolidation, another push up. on a microscopic level, you have a double bottom here, here to here. You could have used as potentially as a support level to try to catch a trade here. Um, not something that obviously not something I did, but not even something that I saw or in hindsight would look at. It's just not for me. That's not enough. That might change in time. The more and more I talk about stuff, the more and more I see stuff. One's happening right now. You got a low here. Let's see where this candle closes. Let's see if this remains to be the low of the candle. We'll have another micro double bottom, and let's see how that gets reacted to. And it's a micro double bottom with consolidation at the high of the day in a very slow move, right? So this is not ripping away. That the reason I keep saying as we consolidate, I look at that as a positive sign, is because the way we're moving up, slow stair step, slow stair step, slow stair step. So here we go. We had a matching low, micro double bottom there, coming beneath it slightly. Last time we did this, we came down, or here's our breakout pullback, but here you came down, we pushed back up. We're still in that no man's land, right in the middle of these two here. So there's not enough to be enticing for me. Right now, middle of the day, overnight high, this market composite epoch. This is really somewhere that I'd be interested in getting into a trade if we can pull back that far. So far, we haven't done any type of pulling back. In fact, this is potentially starting to set up as another long opportunity right here. A little breakout to the downside. Maybe we can take a trade, keep our risk really tight. Again, consolidating near the top. Expectation for me for now is that we are still going to push higher. Still really no major divergence. You have slight, very slight divergence from this high to here, but nothing nearly enough to, in my opinion, to warrant any trade. I know you guys can't see what I'm about to talk about, but there's a big offer. There's a lot of people looking to sell at 53.50. I'll be very curious to see if we get to that level, what happens. I don't know if you remember, but we looked at yesterday. We just took a look to see usually how much size, how many contracts there are at the inside market, which is best bid and best ask. And for those of you who don't understand that, I promise you, I'll get into it another time. But when we looked at, there's always more than 20 contracts, and I don't know what the good average is, but right now at 53.50, there are almost 300 contracts. So that's a lot of size up here. So I'm curious to see if they get there, if people start actually trying to start buying some of those contracts, and what the person or the people that have those contracts there will do. Are they going to cancel their orders, or are they going to actually be willing to sell at that price? If they do sell at that price, well, I'm gonna stop it there for now. Okay, let's see. Still nothing. Still nothing to speak of. They just added more of this 340 now. Adding more again. 350. You know, that's down back to about 300. That in itself could be a reason to take a look for a short here and kind of use that as your resistance. You know, if you could say, okay, I'm going to take a short here. I'm going to put my stop right above that, you know, at 52, and see if I can't at least just get a little push down. It's down to 250 now from what was 350, and nobody's actually traded there. So there's people are just moving their orders. All right, we're going to start paying attention now for long. Remember, you can see here we have a double bottom down here, and we're going to say the same thing down here as we said up top. If we take a long, it's going to be with a very, very tight stop. Well, not necessarily. We could actually scale into this position all the way down past overnight high. Back. I'm going to do it that way. Still 248 contracts there at 53.50. A lot of resistance, or I should say, a lot of supply. Not necessarily resistance. We don't know until we get there. That was a nice little trade setup there. It's all right. Not a big range here, you know, so it's not really the greatest. If you get into 42, 41, 42, your profit target is above that piece of resistance there. That's the only reason I didn't get into it. We are forming divergence. I'm much more interested right now in being short with a tight stop here than being long. So I'm all on the screen. You can't see. I'm watching what's happening at that 53.50. So we're down at 238 contracts, 239 now. Just hovering now. So the reasoning for my entry potentially here is we have nice divergence on all three of the BB charts beneath us. I have that spot where there's a lot of contracts looking to sell. And on the downside, although we've kept bouncing off of that 53.40, for what I'm looking at, I like the idea of a pullback to VWAP and really towards that 53.25 level. So right now, might be forcing this one here. We're sitting in a consolidation for a while up here. That's a lot of energy. The longer you stay in consolidation, the more energy the market is building up. Still 238 contracts there. Okay, yeah, it's just sitting in there too long. At this point, it would be a little too random for me. That actually gives me a chance to work on something here. I know you guys can't see what I'm doing, but I try to use the keyboard a lot for when I enter orders and stuff. It's just what I'm used to from from my old data trading. I'm gonna set up some keys here. Let's increase. Just taking a peek back over there. Let's see what's going on. 5340 holds again. I'm just putting something up here so I can see if my new my keys are working. Yeah, great, cool. we're starting to see pressure down here, some selling pressure. That if we can, okay, I'm gonna say if that holds right there, I am certainly interested in starting to look for a long. Down to VWAP, starting to look for some reasons to get long here. Putting an order in here because now that this bar is about to close, if we come up above it, I'm definitely interested in being long. I'm willing to scale in here if we push down. Where are we at here? 39. Okay. Let's see what happens here. So look, we've had a pullback towards VWAP. VWAP held. We always make the assumption that the VWAP is going to be respected until proven otherwise. We make the same assumption about the middle of the day. Because they're not too close together is why I'm looking to scale in. I don't want to put all my risk on above VWAP because if VWAP fails, But middle of the day holds, I need to be able to have orders so that my stop price is beneath middle of the day. In this case, also overnight high, this micro composite VPOC. As far as profit target right now, we have to get below that 53.50. So we're in at 53.39. All right, that's not ideal. I would have liked to have gotten a couple of ticks better than that, but that's just the way it's set up. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to move our profit target up, and because I've only been filled on one contract, I really shouldn't do that. 49 minutes. That's it. Now we wait. VWAP still holding. Real slow and choppy right now. Getting close to the 9:30 opening. All right, so we'll probably see some type of move there. Couldn't tell you up or down. Of course, right now I'd prefer it be up. That's not necessarily true. A nice quick spike down to fill my other two orders and then a push up would be okay with me also. But right, seeing the VWAP hold would be very nice. If we do move up, I will certainly be keeping an eye on how many contracts there are at 53.50 when we get closer to there. If we still have that 240 or more, which is what we've seen the entire time. Continues to test VWAP. Not really much to talk about right now. No abnormal amounts of size anywhere on the bid or the ask. It's not all that surprising right now that we're kind of slow. We're stuck in between here and here. These two high volume areas. So generally, when you get to high volume areas, you do tend to slow down. So it's not the biggest surprise in the world. I would have liked. Well, I shouldn't say that. Now that I'm in a trade, I'd like to see it move in my favor quickly. That would be best. Get into a trade, get out making money, and move on to the next one. But it's not the biggest surprise to be slowing down. Remember when we look at some of the hypotheses that we drew out, how I'll draw that there's gonna what we potentially expect some chop around these levels, some chop around this level, and that's exactly what's happening here. We broke through this, and we're starting. We're chopping in between the levels, which let me just go over here. Let's look at it together because I haven't looked at it yet, so we'll see if what I'm saying makes any sense. Okay, so here's where we're trading right now, right? So we have our microcomposite VPOC here, microcomposite VPOC here, and you could see that this is generally a high volume area. So it's not a huge surprise that we're kind of stuck here right now. Almost into my second trade, I believe. I think it just missed me. Yeah, Are we 9:30 yet? Okay, so 9:30 just came and went. Not that not that I know anything about the correlation between the S&P and oil, but I am watching the S&P chart as well, just to kind of see what that does. It looks like it's going to make an open push towards overnight low. Yeah, sorry about that. You can see how little trading happens overnight in the S&P. Um, there's so few candles over the entire night. And these candles are 2,584 tick. Oh yeah, you know what? Let's use that. So let's use this as an opportunity to talk about what a tick chart is. So when we do our homework, we look at a 60-minute chart. That means every candle represents 60 minutes. When we look at our trading charts, this one is 2,584 ticks. This one is 610 ticks. That means each one of these candles represent a certain number of trades. Um, and the difference there is those candles don't form based on time. We just got into our second position. Those candles don't form based on time. Those candles form based on volume. And I'm more interested in the volume aspect. Well, our average price now is 36, moving our first profit target down to 46. One of the benefits of scaling in is exactly that. In fact, we're going to turn this into a 2 here. So if we get to there, I will close 2 of the. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay. I'm not sure why that won't let me do that. Predefined strategy. Not a predefined strategy. I did that myself. All right. We'll put another one in here. Okay. Right now, middle of the day, overnight high, microcomposite VPOC. That's what we're looking at as to see if they're going to hold. We also had this back here. This little consolidation area acted as support before. All right, we push back up. Now here's what we're going to be paying close attention to. Well, first thing we're going to be paying close attention to is the trade itself. Still have 236 contracts at 53.50, so I'm very happy with where my stop loss is. I'm sorry, where my profit target is right now. Really want to see us just push up to there at this point. Other than that large size at 53.50, there's really nothing to speak of out of the ordinary there. S&P consolidating here. Let's make these a little wider. Okay. Come on. Still 243 contracts. I'm paying very close attention to that. Almost out of our trade. Maybe not. I'm never a big fan where it misses me by 1 tick. That never that never makes me too happy. Still plenty of size up there, 53.50. And the reason let me see something. Am I able to change this now? Come on. No. Okay. I'm gonna have to figure out how to. Oh, I think I know why. Let me see something. Okay, I got it. Okay. I'm not gonna bother talking too much about software stuff until we get to the point where you guys are, you know, potentially close to going live, and then we'll talk about software and so on. But I see why that's not letting me do what I want to do. All right, we're consolidating here. Um, Honestly, right now where we're consolidating is very 50-50. So we pushed down and we've come back halfway through that move, and here's where we're consolidating. This can really go either way. There's no. It's a shame we got missed by a tick because that really would have been a nice out there. But there's really nothing to say that we are positive or negative right now. We're just in no man's land. Really would have been just a really great exit if it just pushed one tick higher. And sometimes that happens, sometimes you get unlucky. But right now, what we're looking at is we had a high, we have a low, we have a lower high that we're not crazy about, we have a higher low. So if we can hold this, if we can hold a higher low, even if I really, if we end up pushing down and I get into my third position, okay, fine. I'm not crazy about that right now. But if we end up holding here, in fact, one of the things I'm going to look at is if we do, if this forms into a nice candle, a decent bullish candle, I might I might move our third position up, but never mind, I don't need to do that. All right, so now we're into our trade completely. Our average price is now 33, so we're going to move two of our contracts down to 43. Certainly not crazy about how that one went to be off by a tick like that, and that is just flat out luck or unluck. There's nothing to have told us that we were going to stop there, but that's where it did. All right, so we're out of that trade. We kind of saw that coming once we made that push up there. Once we made that push up there and we started, hitting this consolidation, we lost our edge. We lost our benefit there. We are potentially looking for another entry here, though. Even though we just got stopped out, I am looking for another long off of a nice candle. So we might we might potentially be unlucky here twice, meaning we just got missed by a tick here. We just got stopped out to the tick here, and now we're turning. And look, that certainly can happen. If that's what it takes for my trade to go bad, I'll live with that all day long. S&P is testing the low right now, and right there, that's exactly what, as of right now, has happened. We got missed by a tick on the upside. We got stopped out to the tick on the downside, and now we've turned up away from there. That's a little bit of bad luck. That's not to say that this trade ultimately goes in our favor right now. It certainly may. Oh, hang on. Oh, not cool. Not cool. But again, look, if it takes for our trade to be wrong, if it takes that amount of bad luck, so be it. So be it. I got no problem with that. No problem with that at all. during this consolidation after that spike, definitely could have looked at this as a reason to close the trade, because you've now gone into that 50-50 zone. Could have. I'm not, obviously I didn't, but definitely could have looked at that there, because now that you've had your low, your lower low, sorry, your lower high. That's the first time we've seen that so far really today at all. So could have be a miss by a tick like that, getting into that consolidation. Certainly could have looked at closing out that trade there. And then at that point, you're looking to now re-enter, but you're looking to re-enter closer to the bottom now. You're expecting another push down, which would have put our stop price not below overnight high. This is where we would have been trying to enter. Our stop price at that point comes down to potentially, depending on how, if we look at scaling, definitely below this VPOC, and maybe even all the way below the regular open if we were debating on scaling all the way down. But so far here, low, high, lower low, lower high. Actually looks like it's setting up for a potential good short entry here. I just don't like that we'd have to come down through this 21. We don't really have enough room. We don't really have enough room there yet. So we're looking right now. I'm looking for a pullback. I'm still looking to potentially get long here. In fact, I'm not just gonna say it. I'm gonna do it. And I'm looking to get long my entire position here. And the reason for that is all my levels are kind of jumbled up here. All right, let's start looking at profit targets. Where are we in? 27. First profit target 37. And that will actually be my first. Second profit target is going to be 47. I don't know how I feel about that one. I really don't want to treat this as resistance, but I feel like I kind of have to right now. So we're going to come one tick ahead of that. And then our last profit target for now, and this might adjust as we get closer to there and we see what happens if we get closer to there, is going to be below that 50, because we want to see when if we make our way up there, we're going to want to see if there's still that size there at 50. So the reason for this entry the way it is a couple. We have what looks to be the setting up of a reverse head and shoulders. I'm going to get something to draw here with. Okay, and reverse head and shoulders would be we come down, come up. That's your first shoulder. Come down. There's your head. Come up. Come down. That's your second shoulder. And then the concept, if it holds this pattern, the concept is that we make a push up at least to the neckline, which is why our second profit target is beneath that neckline. Let me clear this and you'll see what I mean. That neckline is this swing high right here. So that's why our profit target is in beneath, our second profit target is in beneath that. All right, let's try this here. Yeah. All right, let's see what happens. Just had large size come down at 53.35 and they left. They disappeared. So that was fake. That was bullshit because they didn't get traded. They just disappeared. So we'll see if that shows us anything good or bad. Did I just get missed by a tick again? No. Okay. What time we got? 9:45. Okay. S&P. Let's just take a quick look at it. Why not? So we broke through overnight low, pushed strong above it. However, it's always been lower highs here on the S&P, right? So you got lower open, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. So everything right now continues to show downwards. No diversion, no diversion in the BBs for the S&P. And keep in mind, the S&P BBs are beneath this chart. There's a slight reddish tint to it. It's not a jet black, and I don't know if you guys can see that, but I didn't want to change the color too much because then I'd have to start changing colors on all of like all these lines and shit like that. They just didn't show up as nicely on some of the other colors. So um, the right side, the right half of the screen is S&P, left half of the screen is crude oil. Okay, so we got one. We got one off. That's nice. We're gonna move our stop to break even. We're hoping to test the neckline. We haven't gotten high enough for me to tell you what's a 53.50 as far as the size of the contract. So remember, last we saw it was 240. Got as high as 340. So let's see what if we get high enough to see that. I'll tell you what's up there. I'm actually going to move this one further away because what I'm going to end up doing is if we get there, and I don't want to get ahead of myself, if we do get up to that level, I'm going to be moving my stop loss up to close in some profits, and I'd rather leave this one up as a runner, and if need be, I'll adjust it, as necessary. But still haven't gotten high enough to see 53.50. I think what do we need? I think we need to trade 41. So come on. S&P looks like it just created its first higher low. Now, it'll be. I have to believe that if we see this kind of push up create a higher high, we should get correlation with oil, with the crude oil. But who knows? I could be completely wrong about that. I'm also going to show you. Remember yesterday we took a look at crude oil to see how many contracts there are generally at every level, at the inside level. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show it to you a slightly different way on the S&P, but I'm going to show it to you here as well. So if you take a look here, if you look at the numbers, if you look at these numbers here, this is the amount of volume. All the blue is the bid. That's the people looking to buy. All the red is the offer. That's the people looking to sell. I like that we're pushing in the S&P. Come on, I get up there. Take a look at how many contracts there are here. If you get consistent trading the S&P and you've grown your account, I mean, without exaggeration, you could trade 200, 250 contracts of the S&P with ease. You could get into and out of positions almost at will. You know, the amount of money that ultimately can lead to, if you get good at this, is the numbers are just so stupid. And I do like talking about that. I do like kind of explaining why, anyone that I've talked to about this, most of the people that are hearing this are people that I care for. And is the whole reason I'm recording these, because I know a lot of you don't have the time to get in front of the screen like I would like to have the chance to do with you. And I just want to do my best to try to give you some type of education here to let you decide. I'm getting out of this second one here. Sooner or later that'll get filled. Okay, I'm out of two. I am now moving my third profit target down below here. I got my stop at break even, so I'm very much in a risk-free trade. Tell you the truth. Mm, 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 I have an idea. I don't know if it's if it's a good one or not. My idea is, and I'm not going to do this just yet. I'm going to talk it out, and hopefully you guys can understand it. And if not, as you watch more and more of these, I'm sure this will come up again. My idea is moving my stop loss back down beneath this swing low, beneath the opening range bid, and entering more orders to buy here. Start getting back into a position. It's actually not a horrible idea. S&P is now breaking lows once again. Lower low turned into lower high. We thought we'd had a higher low here, but ultimately we've broken that, and still no divergence. Still nothing on the S&P telling us that it's time to buy. Now, we haven't done any homework. I have no idea if we're anywhere near a level of importance other than dynamic levels, and I can tell you that we're not near a dynamic level. Here's a swing. So that's like the first thing we see down there. So we certainly wouldn't be looking to go long at this point. Would definitely need to set up a lot better than it has been. And what time is it? 9:50. Okay, so that time. Not crazy about the consolidation up here again, but I'm not getting out of this last trade at this point. Like I said, I have my stop at break even. What I do like a little bit about this is that we've opened, we pushed up, and this whole thing has become consolidation. And if you remember what I said before, after this was not a huge move. So after a reasonable move to the upside and consolidation towards the top of that move, a lot of times that starts building up energy for another move up. Now that's not why I'm in this trade, and that's not why I'm holding on to this trade. I'm holding on to this trade because if I wasn't in a trade right now, I'd do nothing, right? So I have nothing to tell me whether it's going up or down. I'm in a risk-free trade right now. I mean, technically, yeah. If I close it now, I save, I don't know, 6-7 ticks versus if it comes and stops me out. Yeah, that's true. But and actually that is going to make me do this too. I'm in a risk-free trade. I got my two off at the well, I think one was 10, one was 12, whatever the numbers were. It's not all that relevant. Risk-free trade. We can truly push in one direction or another. Obviously, I'd like that direction to be up. Oh, we got to get up a little more. I want to see what the hell's at 53.50. I want to see how many contracts there are there. Come on. Now 53.40 is the pain in my ass. S&P one more time, bouncing off of a low. Come on. I want to talk to you again about what happened there in that other trade. All right, I want to point out one more time that it took a miss by one tick and a stop to the tick for us to have been wrong on that trade. You know, that's it happens. There's we did the right thing by looking to get back into the trade. We recognize. Oh, come on, get up there and stay there. I need to see. I got to see what's the 50. Go. It just you saw it just put 252 contracts are still there, so I'm going to leave my profit target pretty much exactly where it is. I'm also going to start moving my stop loss now. Come underneath this VWAP, underneath this consolidation range here. Still 250 contracts there. I'm very tempted to move this away and just follow up with my stop. Very tempted. Let's just take a quick peek at the S&P. Why not? All right, bounced off the low. Still no, nothing here to tell us to go long. In fact, everything is saying quite the opposite. Let's take a look. Actually, you know what? Let's do that. Let's do a quick little S&P review of the day since the open. So we opened right at, actually we opened at a bunch of levels to potentially look at as resistance. So that's something, it's funny. Yesterday when we opened in oil and we went straight up, I didn't look at it before, but after it happened, I took a look and I was like, wow, you know what? We were right at support levels on oil yesterday, so it went straight up from there. Remember, support is underneath us, resistance is above us. Here, the S&P opened right at these resistance levels. Nice potential opening trade, but let's just say you didn't take it. Okay, you get a move down. Now you get a pullback with a little bit of divergence. Looks like we're getting our stop is going to be tested here in the oil trade. Sorry, let's just focus on S&P. Doesn't matter. We get stopped out. We get stopped out. Doesn't make a difference. Okay, so go above VWAP, below VWAP. So we trade above this bar, we close above. But other than that, trade above, close below, trade above, close below, trade above, close below. Lots of good VWAP potential trades here. If we don't take, all right, so we're out of the oil trade. If we don't take any of those, nice, good stop. Nicely done. Nicely done. I can tell you right now, we're looking for another long down here. Just waiting for the candles to form nicely. They haven't yet. I'll tell you, that really turned into a nice trade. Again, being missed by one tick on our profit target, I can kiss my ass on that. But when we were completely filled, we were in, and I'm still looking for a trade here. So if you see a trade go off while I'm talking, I'll explain it. Well, you know what? It's almost 10 o'clock. I really shouldn't be, but yeah, in fact, I will stop. At this point, I'm just going to review that one thing. When we were all in, our average price in was 33. Okay. When ultimately we got stopped out to the tick, those bastards, our profit target would have been 43. And if you take a look, we would have been out. We would have been out of two of them, and we would have had our last one in. So really, I have zero issues with the trade that we got stopped out on. Notice we didn't get any candle setup, so we didn't bother taking any trades. That's all that was. We were looking at a level that mattered. We still are. We don't really have any divergence, so I'm not looking for a long here yet. And I am going to I'm going to hold off on getting into any trades now because I don't want to I don't want to be in a trade that I'm not here to babysit. So a couple things. Let's talk about if you can remember, and you can always rewind the video to see it. When we got into our first trade, average price was 33. Got stopped out to the tick. So be it. Missed us by a tick. Stopped out to the tick. Listen, what are you gonna do? We did a really good job getting back into that trade when we saw the opportunity, and we got into it with all of our size. Also, really good job. Started heading up. We got to our 10-tick profit target. Really didn't push much above that. We ultimately would have gotten to our second profit target, but honestly, we would have gotten to it to the tick. So I don't know that we would have gotten filled. So did a really nice job when we saw it starting to slow down. Did a really nice job taking our second profit target. I don't remember exactly what number it was, but it was good. Thirdly, when we saw that last push and we didn't break and we kind of just started slowing down, and we moved our stop price up. It got some money out on the third on the third contract. So two very very good trades. That's in my opinion, that would be a good morning of trading. Dollars and cents, I don't think we really made much. We might have made a little bit here. Let me see. I tend not to even look at what we make or lose during the day because I honestly don't care on simulation. It's more about my entries and my thought process. Did what I do make sense? Not make sense? Whatever it is. Let's take a look here. Uh-huh. Looks like break even. Made $40 probably after commission, right around break even. Okay. Excuse me. Let's see here. I'm kind of also looking at some of these other screens, just trying to get a little used to what they look like. Maybe this. Okay, that should be. All right. So for now, we're going to be done. We're going to be done for the day. I will see you guys tomorrow. All right. Bye bye.